So that's pretty much covering like all of the normals. So yeah, I apologize for the length of this. I don't even know if I'll split this, but yeah. So now to cover the specials, I would replace all of the tiaras with shield tosses, so that because the tiaras were basically just like shields, except they were tiaras, you know. The only thing is, I would make the shields a little bit less effective. Truthfully, being as unbiased as I possibly can, and being as realistic as I can, and being honest. Shield toss, I don't think that it's OP. I don't think that it's broke. I think it's very, very good and it's very strong. The only thing is, it's like I feel like it's perfectly balanced for the playstyle and the moveset that she currently has in this game. And again, because everything has to be so multi-purpose, it's like it's designed literally perfectly for what she has and what she needs to use. But if you were to give her like her just as one moveset, like part of the kit, like if you were to increase her mobility, her neutral, and actually like help her out in those aspects, then this is just going to be way too strong for her, you know. Because it's like it's not like real zoning, but it is a form of zoning. It is a form of space control. But it's like if she's already going to have better tools to space control with, or to control space with, then she's not going to need even more tools on top of that. That's just going to be overkill, you know. That's too much. So I would retain the properties, like I'll explain the ranges and all that stuff, but I would retain the meter burn potential, you know, all that stuff, like all this meter burn stuff. This needs to link on hit. Like if it makes contact with them, it has to link on hit. Like that needs to get fixed. But if like all this stuff, like when you meter burn it, you know, it works the same way. And this way you can even like do like this meter burn it and then get like her 2-3, like that bomb, get the back 3 out, and you know, get a full blown combo. Instead of in this version, you can't get a combo unless you spend like 3 bars off of this. Like that's just way too expensive in terms of meter, you know, just to combo off of something. And you don't even get that much. No, I'm not even gonna show it because it's just gonna kill more time. So I would retain all those properties and all that stuff. What I would change is I would not. This is if you do like instant down shields at certain ranges, it's actually a little plus. I would change that. I would make it borderline safe. Well, not safe, but I would make it safe, you know. I would make it so that she's not plus. That's one. On any of them that manage to make contact, they just shouldn't be plus. When it comes to the straight one, and even like the regular default one, I would keep the same exact frame data that it has now, just because the frame data is good. Like, if you know the matchup, if you know what you're doing, obviously it's a pain in the ass to deal with, it's annoying, but annoying is not the same thing as broke. You know, annoying is not the same thing as OP. They're two very different things. So yeah, like I would retain the frame data for that aspect. The thing that I would change though is the ranges of them. Same with this. Like I would make it a little bit, I would actually make this one a little bit more unsafe, so that she can't really just willingly chuck this. If you're good at instant shields, like you can actually kind of just chuck this around a little bit. Like if you have like good spacing, it takes forever to kill the opponent, and they can probably still win the chip war afterwards anyways. But you know, like she can sort of get away with this a little bit. But again, with her current toolkit, it's really not OP. It's just really annoying to deal with. But yeah, I would make this a little bit more negative so that she can't, you know, be free to do that. And also, this is all really just if we really need a shield toss, because I don't think that she needs it. But if it was to be included, you know, these are the changes that I would make to it. And also, again, I would change the range, because as you can see, like this is like the max range, more or less, like right over here, right? Like that's a lot of range, you know, because I'm gonna cover it, but I would give her back her demigod punch, in which she can hit people from like all the way over here, you know, like go into the air and just do like a Superman punch. So if she already has that, you know, she could contend this range like with her back 1. She could contend like over here with lasso. Why does she need this also? You know, like that's just a little much in terms of the range, and also just in terms of even having shield toss to begin with. So I would actually change the range to probably like around here. Like right here should be fine. I would change it to lasso range actually. Like to the exact range as this. This would be the max range for like a shield toss, like where it's gonna go. And then when it comes to like a straight shield toss, same thing, just a little bit further back would be the normal one. And I would actually do it so that it doesn't have pushback, because as you can see, it has that pushback, right? Like when you do it further away, it has that pushback. So it does make it a little bit safer because it increases travel time if the opponent needs to hit you with something that, you know, actually travels. I would do it so that there is no pushback, so that way it makes it a lot more unsafe, so that you aren't free to just keep on throwing it out. But I would reduce the range to like maybe like around here. And again, this is if it's so necessary. I don't think that it is, but I would change it to like around there. So yeah, that's that. Same with like the up shield. I would change it. With the up shield, I would actually keep the range that it has, just because it is a good anti-air, and it's like, honestly, it's only like 5%, and she's not gonna get a combo realistically unless you're doing it like right on top of her. So yeah, that's that. So now, lasso grab, I would actually keep it exactly the same as how it is here. Like, I love the startup, I love the range, I like the fact that, you know, it has a lot of recovery if it misses, and I like that it's borderline safe when you do it. Like, you know, like if they manage to block it, like if they do block it, again, because it's a high, you can just crouch it. If they do block it, you know, like you're not really gonna get penalized. You can, but in a lot of situations you won't. However, if they do duck it, then you will get blown up for it, and that's totally fine. That's how a move should behave. And I would keep the on-hit properties that it has, in a sense of it has like this, you know, like it takes them that far away and you're barely plus, you know. Like I don't mind that at all. One thing that I would change though is I feel like the meter burn version either should do a little bit more damage, or it should do like a fixed unscaled percentage, because when you meter burn it in like a full-blown combo, you're literally only adding like 1 or 2%, if even that. I feel like it should do like an unscaled 4% or something if you're spending the bar. Yeah, like just do that, or make it do no additional damage and bring it back to how it was in Injustice 1, where it has that random effect of a buff or debuff, you know, between the opponent. I'll actually explain that bit in a sec. So it's like I would change that. If there is no damage buff, I would at least change the plus frames on the meter burn. Change the plus frames so that she's plus enough so that she can dash up at least and just be right on top of them, you know, like right afterwards, so that she can at least oki them for meter burning, you know. But I'll quickly explain like, the whole like buff or debuff thing from Injustice 1. So, kind of like what I was mentioning with the shield tosses, I don't think that she will need the bash, because the bash is so useful. Like she literally needs the bash in this design. Like she needs it. I don't think that she would need it in like this updated version. Truthfully, I would remove it. Like plain and simply, I would just get rid of it altogether. But like if it's such a must, like if they would design it, like if they would throw it back in, I would drastically reduce the range. One, see like over here, you have like all this range, as you can see how it's covering, right? I would change it to like maybe like here, like this is where it's gonna hit, or it'll have like that little whiff. Like that little whiff will happen like at this range. So you need to be like over here to actually hit them with the bash. There's that. I would change it to that. One, change the range of that. I would not change the startup. But then also I would change this. Look at the range. It's very deceptive. Like you can see how much like she literally shoots forward, right? I would literally cut it down by like 90%. I would do it so that it's like when you meter burn it, like let's say she's over here when she stops, right? You know, like you meter burn it, you only travel like this much on whiff. I would change it to that. Like I would just drastically cut down that range. Currently, she needs this. Like everything that Bash does, she needs it. One thing though that she does need to get changed, that needs to get addressed even in this version, is that the problem with Bash is that it doesn't trade hits with attacks. Like if someone is throwing out an attack and she tries to bash at them, most of the time, I know I sounded like fucking Canadian or something. It's just because I was trying to say another word at the same exact time. But most of the time, it will not trade hits. Like if Superman does his flying punch at you and you bash at the same exact time, it behaves like Superman has invincibility. Like you bash and then you're stuck in like that bash animation for like a split second and then you get hit. It doesn't trade hits for whatever stupid reason. And it's like that with pokes also. Some pokes it'll beat out or it'll trade, but most of the time it doesn't trade at all and you get hit first. Even though you're supposed to trade hits, like you're the only one that gets hit out of the bash. So I would just change that. Just change it so that it's like two moves are colliding. Honestly, like why are they not trading? But it's so simple. It's just common sense. Two moves collide. Two attacks are clashing with one another. It should count as a trade. Not all the time. Everything else is gonna have priority over this. Like you're not getting a combo off of this. You know, so that just shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't work that way. So that's the only thing that I would change. Other thing that I would change for Bash, this is if it was carried over, because again, how it is now, keep it the way that it is. There's something wrong with it. There's something broke about it. But if this was to carry over into the next design or to her next moveset or whatever, change it so that no matter what range you do the bash at, meterless is always punishable. So you know, like if you do it like this, like where you like barely tap them, you are safe. You're only like -3, -4. I would do it so that she's always like -12 or whatever. So she's always gonna get punished for the meterless version, no matter the distance. It's always gonna retain its frame data. It's always gonna be punishable. And what I would change is no potential to delay. You see how like you can kind of do like this fake out for the meter burn? I would do it so that if you're not doing the immediate meter burn, no meter burn comes out at all. So you can't stagger it. There's no mind game. There's no meta behind, you know, bash on block. It's either you're committing right away or you're not. Plain and simply, that's it. One or the other. So that way it's like once you see that pause, everybody can like get that punish on reaction. So she can't just abuse this, just because again she's gonna have all these other tools. So there's no reason why this should be the way that it currently is with her current playstyle. And what I would change is the meter burn bash. I would do it so that she actually like lands just like this. Like the meter burn has her like right next to them, and I would change it to either neutral or +1. And that's it. Just because she would have a 6 frame down 1, so she can frame trap or check, or even trade. But yeah, this is all again if bash was to be carried over. I don't really think that it would be necessary, but if it was, this is what I would change. So her demigod punch, as you can see the range that I could hit her. Like what I was mentioning before, like you control so much of the screen, like she can cover all this distance. See, like it's not full screen, that was full screen, this is full screen, but see, like it covers a lot of space. So I would keep it exactly the same startup, same distance, same properties, it's a mid, etc, etc. It also has this really cool thing where you can cancel afterwards. Look, I'll put them to block always. You can actually cancel out of this. You can special cancel out of this. I would keep all this stuff like nice, like little bits of like dirt and tech. But what I would change is that you have to be instant. The thing with the demigod punch, what I've lapped with this is that it's like the further you are and the higher you are, it makes it safer, right? But it's like if you do like an instant demigod punch like right in their face, it's actually very, very unsafe. Well, it's not very, very unsafe, but it is unsafe. You can't get punished. But if you do it from like full screen and it's instant, you don't. The way that I would change it is just that it shouldn't matter where you do it. It's dependent on the height that you do it at. So it's like you have to be frame perfect if you want to be like borderline safe. But it's like any higher and you are going to get punished for it. So it's like I would actually do it so that you see how it has like that pushback, that distance. See, like right there, I would do it so that like it has like that kind of pushback effect, like you just collided, but she'll land like right next to them, so that they can always like follow up. So that way it can't be a special that's easily like exploited. For her dive punch or like her Amazonian smash, I would actually keep this. I would keep it being an overhead, right? The only thing is, I think I would reduce the range of this a little bit, just like slightly, so it doesn't cover as much distance. And I think I would make it a little bit less safe, because this right here, this is actually safe. It's not plus. Everybody bitched and moaned about it all the time. It's like, oh my god, it's plus, it's an overhead, blah 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 blah. It was never actually plus unless you hit them like right at their feet, like right there. Like if you like landed perfectly, like right there, right at their toes, that's when it was plus. But outside of that, it was always like neutral or like -1, -2, somewhere in there. I would change it so that it's like basically always borderline safe all the time, or maybe it being kind of like the bash where it's like it's always punishable, but if you meter burn it, then it becomes like borderline safe. See, because I guess I can kind of like meld the two. So when I'm going over the up bash part, I would actually, because she has this special, she has this, right? In this version, I would just remove it though. I would remove this special for the bash. Like it's kind of cool, but I don't know. It's just it doesn't have as much use. It's not as good as the bash. But I wouldn't remove that move entirely, because as you can see, it comes out through here. It's basically the same exact thing. So I would just keep this exactly the same, like the properties and everything like that, or at least for like the dive punch. For her lasso spin, I would keep it the same, where it has like this like slow startup, but I would actually make it safe on block, because when it gets blocked, it's -9, I believe, right? And in this version, this was her invincible wake up. I would change the invincible wake up to be the up bash, just like how it is in Injustice 2. But I would change this so that it's actually safe on block. And I would change the launching properties of it. This is one of the big things that I would actually change in general, is very, very similarly to, I'm trying to think, I guess to Starfire. You know when Starfire does her 2-1-3, mid-screen it just launches them away, like it flings them away and she can't do anything, but if she does it in the corner, she can link like a down 1 into a special. That's basically how this, like how I would design this, is that normally it just throws them away when she does this on hit. But when she's in the corner, she can actually like follow up with this. I guess sort of like her standing 3, like in Injustice 2. But you know, like as I said before, I would actually just take away that move altogether. The way that stupid boot. So that's how I would have this work. How like to have this function. So that she does have meterless options. But when it comes to like mid-screen, she would have to spend the bar to have this launch. So like I guess in terms of the animation, I would actually like kind of like include a little bit of the Hestia sound effect, where it's like, you know, like she launches them up a bit, like she does like that whole like the little like whippy sound, right, when the lasso hits them, but then it has like that whole like Hestia glow when she does the meter burn. Like it'll just do like an additional fling, do like the whole like whoosh, you know, like type of sound. Obviously I sound horrible, but you know, like it had like that whole like that whiplash type of sound. And then from there, it'll behave like this, like the gravity. And then she could connect like a 2-3 and just go from there. Like that same way. Her Injustice 1 moveset, it has this special, very similar to this, but it doesn't use a shield. It's just like an upward punch, like a sky uppercut. I'm not even gonna show the tech, just because it's so pointless. But basically it's like, there was this thing, honestly that move was useless, it wasn't even a good anti-air, but it's like if you did like a weird kind of knockdown, like if you had like a hard knockdown, you can use it as like a cross up and it would give you like plus frames. It was like situational tech, it had its uses, again situationally, but honestly outside of that the move didn't really serve much use. It wasn't even an invincible wake up or anything like that. The thing that I would change is I would actually make her keep her bash, her upward bash, right? Like in this version. Just to put it plain and simply, just to cut it down a little bit, I would make it so that meterless is punishable on block, and meter burn version is punishable on block. Because it's like now technically yes it is punishable on block, but it has that pushback and everything. I would do it so that she always lands right in front of their face, and she's always like -10. Or whatever it's supposed to be, so she'll always get punished, you know, all the time. Reason being is because I would keep these properties where it's like if they're jumping over, you get to follow up. Wait, what am I doing? So like with this, that this way you can land like your 2-3, and then, you know, get like a back 3 and all that stuff. So if they're trying to like jump over you and wake up. So I would do it like that. I would retain those properties, right? However, I would change the meter burn version to actually launch on hit. My thought process for like the animation is, you see how like she grabs them and then she just like slams them down like that? I was thinking that when she does the meter burn version, she actually kind of just like, she hits them upward a little bit, like with her shield. Like she bounces them up sort of. Okay. Oh damn, I don't have enough bar. I'm almost trying to do my super. You know, like when she does her super and she kicks them away, like she reels them in with the lasso, she like hits them into the sky, and then she chucks the shield at them, and then it suspends them a little bit, slightly. I would have changed the visual to that a bit, where she like tosses the shield a little bit, and then while they're still in the air and she's on the ground, she chucks her sword at them and just like winds up into them, sort of like Katana's fans. And it does like that mini suspend while the sword is just like, you know, like spinning around inside of them. And that's basically, that would be the launch itself. Like she has that little window, like how Katana has, that they're like covered in the air. And then from there she can, you know, get like a back 3 or something, or maybe like 2-3 and then the back 3. But I would change the properties to that. But again, both versions always punishable. So that way it's like she has to know that it's hitting, or else, you know, she kills bar for no reason at all. And then I guess lastly her super. So her super, should I even show it? Yeah, I guess I'll show it. So I think the startup is actually not that bad, especially with the range that it has. I like how it is here. I like the startup of it. Like, I think the range is good. I think the startup is good for the range that it has. Only thing is, I would make it... Oh, no, you know what? I was going to say I would make it a little bit safer, but you know what? It's fine. I don't think that super should be safe. I don't think they should just be like, oh, hey, fuck it all. Let me just super whenever the fuck I feel like it, and guess what? I'm safe afterwards anyways. You know? So I would keep her super the way that it is here. My thought process, my personal thing, like if I was to change the cinematic, because I would like to change the cinematic of her super, I would do it where it's very much the same, right? She does the super, She pushes them back. She does that whole thing. She reels them in with her leg, and then she pushes them away with the shield, right? The only thing that I would change with that is that when she pushes them away, I would have it where like Cersei or something comes up, you know, or like Ares like pops up, and they sort of like do like a really quick assist with the opponent. Preferably it would have been better with Cersei. But it's like I would do it where it's like Cersei or some goddess or sorceress or whatever, they come up, they appear, and they assist the opponent, right? It has to be somebody magical. And I would do it where it's like they kind of like they unleash like all like these flames, they create like a really quick mini battlefield, and they create like a whole army of the opponent, whoever the opponent, whatever their character is. Like it's like a whole army of them. And then Wonder Woman kind of goes into like that whole scene from the Wonder Woman movie where, what was it? It was after they kill Steve Trevor? I'm not sure. I forget the sequence. But basically the scene where she goes ham on that whole army, where she's like just charging through them, deflecting the bullets and whatever, like tossing them around. And then it ends with like that really epic scene where she just like throws her arms back, you know, as she's like doing like a battle cry, and they all fall backwards. Like it would be like a meld of that, except, you know, it's just like an army of whoever the opponent is. I would change it to like something like that, in the sense of her super. But yeah, that's really that in terms of that stuff. But yeah.